Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to part 2 of me watching every Nicolas Cage movie he ever starred in. If you missed part 1, there's a link in the description to part 1, or there should be a bubble with the link in it as well. You can go check part 1 out. Today in part 2, I will be talking about Peggy Sue Got Married, Raising Arizona, and Moonstruck. One quick note before we jump into things. I've been going in chronological order. Unfortunately, I had to skip a movie called The Boy in Blue because it is kind of hard to get a hold of apparently. It's not on any streamers, and the cheapest copy I can find so far is $50. So I'm going to wait and see if there's any other way I can watch it. I will get to it eventually, just not in today's video. With the intro out of the way, let's get into the first movie. Movie number 1 for today's video is Peggy Sue Got Married. Peggy Sue Got Married is about a woman who's in the midst of getting a divorce with her husband. When she goes to her high school reunion and he shows up when he wasn't supposed to, and she wins queen of the reunion, I guess is what we can call it, she gets overwhelmed and she passes out. When she wakes up, she's back in time in high school. The movie shows her trying to navigate being back in time in high school while she tries to fix some of the regrets she has as she met her husband in high school. In this movie, Nicolas Cage plays Peggy Sue's husband that she's divorcing, and her boyfriend when she goes back in time in high school. Once again, it's another romantic comedy, romance movie for Nicolas Cage. He's definitely been typecast in this box early on in his career, but this is a pretty good example of this kind of movie. I really enjoyed Nicolas Cage's performance in this movie, especially seeing him working with Jim Carrey in this movie was super fun to see. One thing that I don't understand is the voice that Nicolas Cage's character uses in this movie. I won't lie, it definitely makes it more entertaining. It's just strange and I don't get why they did it, but overall I enjoyed the decision to make that his voice. Although one issue with the voice that Nicolas Cage has, it makes serious scenes, which there are a couple scenes that I think are supposed to be taken seriously, kind of seem not as serious because his voice is just so ridiculous.
Did we break up? Did we break up? Because if we did, I don't even know about it. You're gonna blow it, Peggy Sue. No one treats Charlie Bodell like this.
Overall, I think this is a really great step in the right direction for Nicolas Cage and kind of shows what he'll turn into, which is an amazing over-the-top actor that a lot of people love. Now, I don't want to get into too many details because I would recommend you go watch this movie. It's really good if you haven't seen it, so I don't want to give away too many spoilers. There is one kind of morality question. So Peggy Sue, as an adult woman, goes back in time to high school. So she's surrounded by high schoolers. And there's a couple scenes. One scene where she does have sex with one of the high schoolers. Although, yes, she is in the body of a high schooler at the time, she is still with the mind of an adult woman. And the morality of that is up for question. You can have a debate about it in the comments down below if you'd like, but I think that's a little weird, but that's just me personally. Speaking of weird and sex scenes, there is a scene where she tries to have sex with Nicolas Cage, and it is hilarious.
Charlie, let's make love.
What? You mean sex? Intercourse.
Doesn't Lucky Chucky want to come out?
Huh?
No. Your love machine, your throbbing thrill hammer, your thing.
You mean my wang?
The way he says Wang, I think, should be my ringtone or text message alert or something. It's amazing, and I'm so glad that that stayed in the movie. Overall, I'd have to give this a grade of good. I think it was a cool, different look at your cliche high school romantic comedy with the traveling back in time aspect of it. It was also kind of an interesting look on regrets and if you could change things, would you? I think the way they play with that is pretty interesting. Like I said, I'd recommend you go see it. It was super fun. I will definitely watch it again at some point. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a great movie. Movie number 2 for today is Raising Arizona. In Raising Arizona, Cage plays a petty crook who goes through this constant cycle of committing a crime, getting caught, sent to jail, committing a crime, getting caught, sent to jail. And as he goes through this, he meets an officer and they fall in love. Her name is Ed. Nicolas Cage, whose character's name is Hi and Ed fall in love, get married. They try to start a family, but unfortunately cannot conceive. So they come up with this plan when they see that a local wealthy family just had what I could only describe as a litter of children. They decide they can't take care of all those kids, so they go and kidnap one of them. This was a comedy that was over the top, but in an enjoyable way. They didn't go too far ever. Honestly, Nick Cage lives for roles like this. He killed it in his role. Not to mention, he has like a southern accent, and he actually does a really good job. Accents and voices are one thing Nicolas Cage doesn't have a great track record of. They're funny. Sometimes I think they're supposed to be serious accents, but he's just not great at them, I guess. I'm not sure. But his accent's actually pretty good in this movie. I would highly recommend you watch this movie. It's great. I for sure would watch this one again. I'll probably watch it a few times again. It's really good. Before I get to the grade, there was just one weird thing. I mean, there was a lot of weird things because it's a comedy, but I think those are more intentionally weird things. There's this bounty hunter character, and he just seemed out of place in the movie. Overall, the movie was mostly pretty grounded. I mean, obviously it's a over-the-top comedy, so there are the over-the-top moments, but the bounty hunter character just seemed super over the top and kind of pulls you out of it a little bit, but nothing that really deterred too much from the movie. So overall, I have to give this movie a grade of amazing. It's a comedy that made me laugh and was enjoyable and is rewatchable, and you can't really ask much more for a comedy. I think Nicolas Cage does a great job in this movie. It's fantastic. Again, I would highly recommend you watch it. All right, it is time for movie number 3 in a new location. I actually already filmed this part, but my laptop that I use for notes was right next to me while I was filming, and it sounded like a jet engine taking off. So I have to redo it. And I thought, why not try a new filming location this go around? So here we are. The third and final movie for today's video is Moonstruck. In Moonstruck, Cher, yes, the singer Cher, plays a woman named Loretta. Loretta's boyfriend, while going out to dinner, proposes to her. She says yes. But before they can get married, her fiancé has to go to Italy because his mother is dying, and he wants to be with her while she's dying. Before he leaves, Cher's fiancé has one request for the wedding, that his estranged brother attend the wedding, and he asks her to go and see if she can convince him to come to the wedding. So while he's off in Italy, she tracks down her fiancé's brother, finds him, and tries to convince him to come to the wedding. Well, his brother is played by young Nicolas Cage, so obviously they begin seeing each other romantic-like. Once again, another romance movie for Nicolas Cage, still very much in the same lane. This one was just a cheating romance movie, so I didn't really get who I was supposed to be rooting for. Nicolas Cage gives a pretty good performance, very over the top, unhinged at times.
I lost my hand! I lost my bride! Johnny has his hand! Johnny has his bride! You want me to take my heartbreak, put her away, and forget?
Very entertaining and fun to watch. But my true problem was I just didn't really know which one of these characters I was supposed to root for, what I was supposed to want to happen. I really didn't like any of them. They all had a lot of issues, which I'll break down more here in a second. So this one's going to have a spoiler warning. I'm going to go into a bit more detail about the movie than I normally do. So if my little plot description sounded interesting to you and you want to watch it before you listen to some of my, not spoilers, but I'm going to go into more detail than I normally would. I would recommend watching this movie first, but honestly, I wouldn't recommend watching this movie anyway. So I'd just stick around for this. I wouldn't worry about it too much. So now I'm going to break down the characters individually and their many issues. starting with Cher's character, Loretta. Cher's character in this movie is just a psychopath, straight up. I cannot believe I'm supposed to root for this character. So, as I mentioned before, her fiance's mother is on her deathbed. He calls her from Italy, literally goes, "I'm calling you from the deathbed of my mother. She's going to die any second now." She literally rolls her eyes at him and tries to change the subject and is like annoyed by the fact that he keeps bringing up his dying mother. It is just so weird. Why am I supposed to cheer for this person? Not to mention, later in the movie, when she's cheating on her fiance with his brother while his mom is dying. What about this person is supposed to be something redeemable or that I'm supposed to like or want good things to happen for? She's just kind of a bad person. She genuinely shows no empathy or feelings for others throughout the entire movie. It's so weird. She even admits to her mom at one point that she doesn't even love her fiance. I don't understand this person at all, and I don't get why I'm supposed to be cheering for her. Now, Nicolas Cage's character in this movie for sure has anger issues. He is unhinged. He is depressed and has suicidal tendencies as well.
Bring me the big knife.
No, Ronnie.
Bring me the big knife. I'm gonna cut my throat.
Maybe I should come back another time.
No, I want you to see this. I want you to watch me kill myself so you can tell my brother Johnny.
So right there off the bat, another red flag for Cher that she just immediately falls for this guy after he has an angry outburst where he flips a table, and that's what Cher finds so attractive. Why am I supposed to be attracted to any one of these people in any way? He's just also not a good person. Same points with Cher. His brother is at their mom's deathbed, and his solution to this problem is to have sex with his brother's fiance? Immediately, by the way. It's not like she had to break him down. They just both started going at it. Not to mention the reasoning why him and his brother is estranged is super weird, because Nicolas Cage's character works at a bread store, bakery. Don't know why I couldn't think of the word bakery there for a second, but I couldn't. He works at this bakery, and I guess while he was cutting bread or something, his brother was talking to him, and because his brother was talking to him, he got distracted and somehow cut off his own hand, and he blames his brother for that, and then his fiance left him because he cut off his hand, so he blames his brother for losing his hand and his fiance for some reason, so that's why they're estranged. It's just super weird, and once again, I don't like him. I don't want things to work out for him either. It's just another strange character that I don't get. Now on to Cher's dad. Cher's dad in this movie cheats on his wife, and he's shown lying to people. He's a plumber. He's shown lying to them to try to drive up the prices and basically steal money from him. So he's a liar and a thief right off the bat. Those are the first two things you learn about Cher's dad. Not to mention the scene where Cher goes home to tell her dad that she's been proposed to and is getting married. He brings up the fact that her first husband died. Now, her first husband got hit by a bus and died. But somehow, Cher's dad blames her. It was super strange and definitely didn't show a lot of empathy for the fact that she's finally moved on from the death of her first husband and is getting remarried. And he brings that up and is like, you shouldn't get married because you got your first husband killed. Which is just a strange thing to say to your daughter after giving such great news. Cher's mom in this movie is pretty normal throughout. She's kind of obsessive about some things, but nothing too crazy. She also does go on a date with this guy, but it was mostly innocent. Nothing happens. She cuts him off before anything bad could happen. Like I did say before, though, she does ask Cher if she loves her fiance, and when she says no, she's like, oh, that's good. That's good. Which maybe, explains the whole cheating thing. Doesn't make the cheating right. Cheating's never right. Just leave the person before you cheat on them. It's never the right thing to do. But still kind of starts making sense. But overall, she's nice enough, and especially compared to the other characters, she's very normal. Next up is Cher's grandfather, who she calls Pop. By the way, before I get to his analysis, Cher lives with her mom, dad, and grandfather. So all these people are under one roof. Not to mention, Cher's grandfather has 5 dogs. Now, look, I love dogs very much. I really do. But I don't think a man in his 80s should be walking around everywhere with 5 dogs. And yes, he takes them everywhere. That just does not seem safe to me and kind of screams like he got some problems up top. You know what I mean? I love dogs. I truly do. But I don't think a man in his 80s should be having 5 dogs. That's just, I know some people might disagree, but that's just my take on the situation. Not to mention, people talk to him. He mostly just communicates in hand gestures and kind of things. Like, I get you're 80, man, but come on, use your words now. And the final weird thing about our grandpa, there is just a scene where he's out walking his dogs and just starts howling at the moon. Don't get what that adds to the movie at all. Maybe I'm missing some kind of symbolism or something there that I'm just too dumb to get. But I just thought it was super weird and out of place that this old man just starts howling at the moon at night, I guess, walking his 5 dogs. Finally, the last character I'm going to go over is Cher's fiance. Now, he's just honestly an idiot. There's no other way for me to put it. I think it's supposed to be played off as for laughs, but it just doesn't land very well. And he is the person you kind of feel the worst for, but also you kind of have a hard time feeling too bad for him because he is just dumb in the movie. They try to make it seem all okay at the end because he comes home and tries to call off the marriage before Cher can say, hey, I've been fucking your brother. But that just kind of comes off forced, and it's kind of like they wrote the movie and realized, oh my god, we have all these unlikable characters. How do we make up for it? In the last 5 minutes, like, have the dude say that he doesn't want to get married anymore. So that didn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, he was just kind of dumb and goofy, but it didn't land very well, and you did just kind of feel bad for him, but not in a good way. The overall grade I would give this movie is okay. Nicolas Cage kind of saves this movie in a few scenes by being over the top, and that was entertaining. Like I said, I didn't really care about any of these characters. I didn't really want anything to happen to them. The movie wasn't that long, so that kind of made it better. If you're into this genre, then maybe go check it out. But if you're not super into this genre, or this didn't move you at all, I would just leave this one alone. It was just okay. Thank you for watching the second part of me watching every Nicolas Cage movie. Hopefully the next episode will be up in about a week or so. I'm giving myself a week and a half to get these up, but if you enjoyed watching, like, share, comment down below, anything. If you like these movies, if you didn't like these movies, if you feel like I missed one that I should have watched. Like I said, I'll get to The Boy in Blue at some point, but until it's not $500 to buy a DVD of that movie, I'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But like I said, thank you for watching. I'll see you in part 3.